Hello guys, today we have Emmanuel. Emmanuel is an amazing guy. He's one of our students in the e-commerce scaling secrets program, and he's one of the guys as well in the program who surpassed 7 figures in sales. I'm very happy for that, and he's done that in the last like 8 months, since April.
Yeah, exactly. Since April, so 8 months.
That's awesome. And so, and it's like for me, it's like I remember we had this like initial conversation when you joined the program, and you're now selling only in like Swedish market.
Yes, I do. And like I started like this journey for like over a year ago now. And first I was only selling like to the big four because I watched all these YouTube gurus and they said like selling to the big four like US, UK, Australia, Canada. And I mean like there's nothing wrong with that. But when I remember like when we had our first call and you said like, have you tried to sell in like your home country? And I was like, no, I never thought about that. Can I even do that? I was like, it never really crossed my mind. So yeah, but since then I've been selling in Sweden only. So that's the only market currently that I'm selling in.
That's awesome, man. And so what have been like, so obviously that was a big shift, right? Like shifting from selling to the big four, other like international market, to selling in your country, which, I think that's advantage, right? Because first you have, obviously there are people selling, there, but probably there are less of them, and you can, talk in your language so people understand. So there's like, it resonates better. And we've had some stores, in European countries that also have done like small country can do like, few $100,000 per month in sales, which you wouldn't like expect, right? If you think about it. But
Yeah.
what other kind of like shifts have happened for you that kind of like allowed you to have better results?
Yeah, I would say like obviously switching markets is a big thing. Like when it comes to competition, as you said, like here in Europe, Amazon is not as big as in US, for example, and it's just overall less competition. So it's easier to take products that works internationally and sell them like in Sweden and bring them to this market. But other than that, I mean, I've been testing a lot of things. I've been testing constantly new products, constantly testing new ads, ad accounts, and really just testing so much more than I was doing before I joined the program. So that has been a huge thing, and yeah, then just like double down on what's working, and don't get too emotionally invested in products and stuff like that. But I mean, it's hard to just like pinpoint one specific thing, because I think like there's so much things that this program has given me, and it's hard to just like say one thing. So I guess it's a compound effect of like everything. But yeah.
That's awesome, man. And so the you mentioned one of the things, not getting like emotionally attached to the product or store. Like, can you talk more about that? So have you done that before? Like,
Yeah, that was the thing. Like I went with a one product store from the start of my drop shipping journey for like over a year ago. And actually almost until I joined your program, I was stuck with one product and one product store for like like a half a year or something. And I thought like in the beginning that it's all about the marketing, and I mean, in a way, that's right, but also it's you need to have the product and you need to have an offer that people actually want to buy. And but yeah, it was a good learning experience, because I actually started off seeing no results, and then I actually got sales, and I did convert the product in a better way with time. So I learned that you can make something work okay, but still, I would have, if I would have given myself some advice now, it would be to move on very faster, and like test things basically, and not get stuck with one product.
that's awesome, man. So in terms of the, obviously, so you're selling in one country, in Sweden. What is the population of Sweden?
It's like 10 million.
10 million, and then, but that's like wealthy country, right? Like, I mean, people.
Yeah, for sure. And yes, Sweden now I think is a very good country to sell in. Like you said, it's a wealthy country, and e-commerce is big here. So even if it's a small population, you definitely can make big numbers.
Mm-hmm. And so in terms of your like specific challenges that you had to overcome, right? Like obviously it's like, it's a good thing you're selling in one country, but also there probably have been some challenges that you had to overcome in your particular market, right? Like maybe the shipping, or have there been like any challenges that you specifically had to deal with?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the shipping is one thing. You really have to let your customer, like update your customers through the like shipping journey. And really, I've put a lot of attention to like customer service overall, and answering every email and answering every comments on the ads and so, because I actually see, if I compare to like other Swedish competitors, like the competition is not that good, honestly, and I'm surprised by how like bad the competition is sometimes. But yeah, that's one thing, like a barrier, the shipping time. And I didn't thought like the Swedish market would be good for like shipping products from China, because I felt like they have beliefs about that it's not gonna like be good for me. But it actually hasn't been that much of a problem. And but yeah, otherwise it's like customs and import fees, they are a little like tough with that here on the Swedish market. But I mean, as long as you communicate, it's fine.
Cool. In terms of, because you evolved from basically working, you had like 9 to 5 job, right?
Yes.
And then so you evolved into basically running your own business, right? How
Yeah.
that transition like happened for you? Like how much time it took you to kind of like evolve to that, and how do you feel now about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool story, because like I was working at a small company, and I was mainly working with like sales, but not in the way I'm doing now, like more like cold calling and the old fashioned way of doing things. So like I manually was doing like order management and packing products and stuff, and I also did a little bit of customer service. So I mean, in a way, it was a really good start for me, because I got insights in how to run a company, because it was only me and 2 other people in this company, so very small company. But yeah, the good thing is that I got to know how to run a company basically, but it was very old-fashioned way of doing things. And so yeah, it's a bit different than what I'm doing now. But I remember like when I started to get traction after joining your program in April, and basically my first month was pretty good. Like I don't remember exactly, but like 50K or something. And then like the other month was like 100K. And then I remember like telling my boss, and he was so surprised, like, what the fuck? How is this possible? Because we were like doing very small numbers in this company. So for him it was kind of shocking, but it was fun. And I pretty much felt like immediately when the results come in that I have to quit the job and do this like full time. So yeah, but it was a good experience.
So you mean like you told him, right? And for him it was kind of like not in his paradigm, right? That someone can just do it like without talking to someone, right? Like, and generate sales like that.
Yeah, exactly. And also a funny note is that my boss actually started a dropshipping company just after I mentioned my results. He was like, "Shit, I'm gonna do this as well." but yeah, that's the thing. Like it was like a paradigm shift for me as well, because like for like a year ago, I would never have believed that these numbers that I've made now was like possible for me to make. So it's fascinating. And now when I have reached this level, it's a completely like different view or like standard that I've reached now. So yeah, it's cool.
So now you're putting yourself, now it's like, let's say 100, 150, 200 per month. Okay, so now it became a standard, right? Now you have to like
Yeah.
hit even higher numbers to.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so in terms of the mindset shifts like that have happened for you, so how long ago have you started like dabbling with dropshipping, like first time?
Yeah, first time I was first like watching videos like in October or September
Here?
2019. So a
Oh,
little
wow.
more than a year ago was like the first time I came across dropshipping. So actually like not so long ago.
Wow. So literally, wow, that's cool. That's quite fast. And so for you, like in terms of the like how many hours did you put into this business? So when you were working like full time, like how many hours would you put into this business?
Yeah, I mean, I put every hour possible into this. I'm gonna say that it was some like tough months where I didn't get good sleep because I was so obsessed with making this work. In the beginning, maybe put in like 5 hours a day, maybe or something like that when I had my job. But then like pretty quickly I was like, I need to work more on this. So I actually before I quit my job, I also like worked like 75% at a time, like not full time, because I felt like I need to put more work into this. And also I don't want to burn out, because it's very easy to get like unhealthy in a way. But like yeah, I've dedicated a lot of time to this. And yeah.
So how do you like, have you structured your, now as you're getting some good traction, like have you dedicated some time to the health? Like do you dedicate more time to the sleep, or you still like pushing yourself to like before?
Yeah, I mean, definitely I've prioritized my health more now, because like obviously you get better results from that as well. But I mean, it's a bit tricky when you have a full-time job, and it could be a tricky situation for a lot of people, because if you actually want momentum and you want to see like traction, you have to put in the hours, and it's not that easy if you have a full-time job or whatever. But like, yeah, I definitely prioritize my health more now, and make sure to work out if possible in the morning and start my day off right. And but then of course, like I'm gonna admit that in like this Q4 it's been a little busy some days, so not every day is healthy, but I'm trying my best.
What numbers you've done like in November? How you finished?
In November, I think I made like 280 or 90K, so almost 300K.
What's your model? Like what's working for you in that particular market? Like the general store, like or multiple stores? Like how do you structure this?
Yeah, so I guess you could say that I run, somewhat of a general store, but it's not like 100 or 1,000 products. It's more now I think I have like 15 products or something. And, since the start, I've never really like promoted more than like 8 products at a time. So it's not that many products, but I mean, in a market like in a smaller market like this, as we discussed, it's easier to like be a little more general, I believe, than it is maybe in the US, because then you will be crushed by the competition, basically.
Yeah, I
But
mean, like Chinese, let's say you sell the Chinese sellers, they have higher margins. They can just push, the break-even row is like 1.2, and like, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember, when I joined the program, I remember listening to an interview with you and one other guy that was selling in Europe. Like not only like it was not like a one-man company. I think it was bigger, but I remember like they were also, I forgot his name, but it was also like they run some kind of a general store in Europe in multiple countries. And so I took some inspiration from that. And also they leveraged Instagram influencers, like micro influencers, not to like get promoted posts or stories, but to like get like the influencer gets a product or multiple products in exchange for like video content or like pictures. And that is a model I've been using as well, and that works really fine.
Nice. So you basically reach out to the like influencers locally, or like just in your country or in other countries? Where do you find them?
Yeah, actually only locally. And yeah, in the beginning, I've had to do my part more, like reach out to them. But since my store really took off, I have people all the time reaching out to me and asking for products. So
Nice.
I don't have to do the job, which is nice.
Cool. Do you get any help? Like, do you have like how you structure your team, or like you do most of the stuff by yourself? Like, how do you structure that?
Yeah, I mean, I do most of the stuff when it comes to like creating the ads and managing the ads. I do that myself because I like to have control over that part, and I want to be good at it before I outsource that part. I don't even know if I'm willing to outsource it, but the things that I have outsourced is customer service and email marketing. Otherwise I take care of like the ad creation and yeah, that stuff myself.
So for the email marketing, what percent do you get? Like good percentage of sales from the email?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think I'm getting somewhere along the lines of like 12%. or something from email. So it's not great, but also it's like a general store, as I said. So it's a bit harder to convert customers that in a general store with email marketing. But I mean, it's still, you know, makes a difference for sure. But it could be better also.
Cool. In terms of your general, so do you use like the same pixel for all of these products?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, cool. Because that's a lot of, a lot of people ask.
Yeah, I see that in our group.
Yeah. So they ask like, okay, so if I'm selling this type of product, this type of product, this type of product, like, do I need like different pixels? And I mean, that creates a lot of complexity, right? Like, I mean, especially if, unless it's like huge volume, right? And you do like big volume for each of those products. But otherwise, yeah, we also keep it simple. Awesome. And have you explored other like traffic channels, or like Google or Pinterest, or it's mostly Facebook at this stage?
Yeah, I mean, when I started out for like over a year ago, I was trying Google Ads, but I never really got that to work the same way I did with Facebook. And so with this new store, and that I started in like late March, I have only been doing Facebook ads actually. And I mean, of course, I think it's good to use other channels for sure, but I also want to like, if you can master one channel, that is also a huge advantage. And you know, I've been like lucky enough also to not get banned by Facebook, and I try to comply with like their policies as much as I can. And obviously that is not a guarantee still that it's going to work. So of course, I think it's good for the future to like try other channels, and especially like Google, I think. But yeah, I've actually only used Facebook for this store.
Cool. I mean, I think you have the potential there to push, because we have guys, in our community in Dutch market, they're doing like 3-5 million in, for example, only in Dutch markets, right? Like Netherlands is, it's like also like 10 million people in the country. So I think with your store, you definitely have the potential to do like 3-5 million there. Like, that's for sure. Maybe even more, right? But that obviously will come from with more products and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And so how was your, like, you had any issues with feedback score?
I mean, in the beginning, I didn't have issues with it, but the feedback score wasn't great. Like when I first got my feedback score, and like a month or 2 months after that, I struggled a little bit with keeping the feedback score like in a good, like healthy score. But since then, like since 4 months back, my feedback score has been like between 3 and 4.5 since that. And you know, I don't see like any drastic changes from week to week. So yeah, I've definitely learned my lesson when it comes to like product like quality. In the beginning I was more like, you know, oh, this works, let's sell it. But now I'm like, this works, but I mean, if the quality isn't good, I'm not going to sell it for sure.
Cool. And so do you work like with one agent, or you have like multiple agents that you work with?
I work with one agent only, actually.
Cool.
But yeah, like I have some products that I, you know, wanna test, and the agent is like, we can't ship this because it's like too big or whatever. And so I'm actually thinking about like transition this more to maybe use both an agent and like third party logistics here in my country or something like that. Because I mean, even if the drop shipping model has been working good for me so far, I'm also, you know, I also know that it's not gonna last forever, and I want to transition to something else also.
100%. That's, that's like you dropshipping is good, like to get momentum, get some initial like capital, then you use that capital to just evolve to the next level, right? Build something that's sustainable, something that you can sell over time. So that's awesome that you're moving in that direction. What advice, like, so if you had a conversation with someone who's maybe struggling with their business, or just want to, like, maybe they hit like 6 figures but want to go to the 7 figures, what would you tell them? Like, what piece of advice would you give them?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, if you're more advanced and want to get to the next level, and I mean, even if you're starting out, I would also recommend like this program, like surrounding yourself with people that have actually accomplished the things you want to accomplish, and that's gotten the results that you want to have. That's like something I would really recommend everyone, like join a program, or like find people and yeah, try to understand how they work and how they operate and what their habits are and everything like that. That's a big part, I think, if you want to take it to the next level. And for like people who are just starting out, or even if you're like just want to reach the next level, I always think like constantly be testing everything is very important, and you don't know until you test it actually. So of course that's a big part. And also something that I think for myself that has helped, at least in the beginning, is like not be too focused on like the results or the output, especially at the beginning. Like focus more on like the input and like the action that you do every day, and make sure to like have a plan your weeks, plan your days, make a list of things you should do every day, and then like reward yourself for the action and the work you put in, instead of focusing too much on the results. Because like especially as a beginner, you don't really see the results immediately. And so to get, because that's something I felt like even when I joined your program and didn't see the results, I was still feeling like I'm having the momentum, because I was putting in the work every day and I was, you know, seeing better performance, and I took action every day. And so that's one thing I think for the beginners, because it's otherwise it's easy to like, you know, slowly starting to take less and less action, and then like giving up and, you know, blaming whatever, Facebook.
That's such a good point, man. That's such a good point. Like basically, kind of like, okay, well, like reverse engineering instead of like, that's a good point. That's very good point. Because yeah, initially sometimes, you know, for example, like with we have another guy in our program, like Nate Sparks. I mean, he's done some of the mistakes that you've done, that I've done, like that, you know, most of the getting emotional attached to the product, spending, you know, money on things that, you know, are not as good, and making a lot of these mistakes. But he also like readjusted. I mean, he kept pushing, right? He kept putting in the work and listening to the feedback that, you know, that we gave him, and now he does very well. I think he does like 300K per month. So awesome, man. So in terms of the health, like how do you do anything kind of like specific? You have some routine for that, or like what you eat, like you've improved something on that part, or not yet?
I wish I could say yes, but I mean, I'm working out more constantly now, for sure, than I did like when I had my job and worked on the side business. But like in terms of like food, it goes up and down. Sometimes I only eat like chicken and rice for like 2 weeks, and then I go back to eating more like nasty shit. But I'm trying to improve there, because obviously the thing you need as, you know, an entrepreneur is energy. So you don't want to be getting in eating shitty food and not like working out and stuff and getting bad sleep, because then all of a sudden like you are not gonna be motivated to work and do that stuff. So I'm trying to think about it, and I think I have a healthy lifestyle for sure, but it can get better, and I will prioritize it more also in the future.
Awesome. So you work from home, right? Or you work from the office?
I've been working at like co-working office for a bit, but now like also this Corona situation here in Sweden is a little tougher now. So now I mainly work from home, but I like to have office as well to go to sometimes, and like, you know, split between working from home and going to office to like see people, and just to try to get like not you know, if you work from home all the time, it's easy to like I mean, it's harder to get away maybe from the job. If you go to office and then you come home, it's easier to be like, now I'm home, let's not work. And that's healthier as well, I think. But it's hard to not constantly work. I'm gonna be honest with that.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward for you to hit like 10 mil.
Yeah.
So, and I'm very, you know, happy for you to make this like progress. I'm very happy for this, man. And I mean, that just makes my day, you know, like happy, you know, seeing people like you like getting traction with their businesses. And it's like, it's more like mental. I mean, it's like, you know, once you hit like 1 mil, you realize like, oh, 1 mil is not that big. Like then you hit like 5 mil, it's like, oh, it's not that big. So then you know, you constantly evolve through those things. But it's good to shift that paradigm. Yeah, man, I'm very excited for this. I'm very happy for you. In terms of your kind of like next step, the things that you're like, you mentioned you want to evolve, like, so obviously you're milking this dropshipping model as it is, but then you eventually want to build something that is more sustainable, correct?
Yeah, for sure. And like, I don't yet know if like I'm gonna try to do what's working here in Sweden and maybe use third-party logistics and then like expand to different like European countries, or if I'm gonna like maybe slowly start something as some other store. I don't really know yet the exact like plan for that. As you said, I'm still doing what's working because obviously it's working. So I don't feel stressed to take the next step, but eventually it's going to happen. And I definitely want to build something more long lasting. But now I also have the capital to be like invest in something bigger and build something, that is going to be more long lasting than what I'm currently doing.
Awesome. Cool. Awesome. And yeah, let's let's connect when you hit 10. I mean, even 5, like getting from 1 to 5. And yeah, let's see, I'm very excited for you, man. And thank you for, following through actually, because I share things with a lot of people, I tell them the exact things to do. A lot of people just like not executing on it, right? You were the one like to let's do this, and you actually executed on it and you got the results. I'm very happy for that. Thank you for sharing this, man. And yeah, I'll see you. Thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, Emanuel. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you can just like this video and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos in the future. Thank you.